of feels like Gen 9 doesn't really have as much Pokemon. I guess we haven't really seen all of the Gen 9 Pokemon yet, haven't we? Considering there are now DLC Pokemon. I'm also looking at some of these Pokemon and realizing I don't recognize them at all. Sprigatito, you're just a weed cat. I put you in emergency rations, I think. You already forgot the name of this fire type Pokemon. The fire type starter. Oops. Fuecoco. You're just like a little flaming crocodile. Put you also in emergency rations, I think. Quaxley, you're a duck. And ducks are extremely edible. Lechonk. Lechonk. It's Lechonk. It's Lechon. Tarantula. Orb weaver spider. You can eat orb weavers, I think, actually. I put them under emergency rations, though. Looks like another bug type Pokemon, Nimble. Based on a grasshopper, particularly those of a locust variety, larger than grasshopper varieties, and have a swarming phase. The appears to be based on the superheroes of the Kamen Rider franchise. Man. Can't escape freaking Kamen Rider. Okay. I do think these guys would be edible though. Yeah, emergency rations. Palmy seems to be very rodent aligned. Probably put you in emergency rations, honestly. The mouse Pokemon. Mouse Pokemon that just sort of fuck. I'd honestly put them in emergency rations as well. Oh god, Fido. Fido. It's edible. Is Fido just like raw dodo? It's smooth and moist to the touch. Yeast in Fido's breath induces fermentation in the Pokemon's vicinity. It's a fairy type Pokemon. What is with fairy type Pokemon and being extremely edible? Next is Smoliv. Do you remember seeing something about olive oil here? It protects itself from enemies by emitting oil from the fruit on its head. The oil is bitter and astringent enough to make someone flinch. Shares its tasty fresh scented oil with others. Existed with humans since time long gone. Share its delicious nutrient-rich oil with weakened Pokemon. Okay. It's just healthy. It's just a healthy snack. I feel like a lot of Scarlet and Violet Pokemon were designed with edibility in mind. You know, the whole region is based off Spain, Spanish cuisine, you know. Actually, what I kind of want to do is actually put Fido in gourmet meal, honestly. Next is Squawkabilly. Is a bird with a pompadour? What are they based off of? Parakeet or a small parrot? Based on punk or delinquent archetypes? And also rocker subculture, okay. I'd probably put Squawkabilly in like, I don't know, emergency rations, I think. And a Minecraft Pokemon. I was born in a layer of rock salt deep under the earth. Particularly treasured in the old days as they would share precious salt. Well, salt is constantly being created and replenished inside Knuckles' body. Okay. Rub its fingertips together and sprinkle injured Pokemon with salt. Even severe wounds will promptly heal afterwards. Okay. It's just salt. It's just salt. It's just salt. I'd honestly put in everyday meals. Okay. Charcadet. Oh, Charcadet. Okay. Charcadet. I feel like it's human enough to be, honestly, questionably ethical. Burnt charcoal came to life and became a Pokemon. If it's charcoal that came to life, it might end up being inedible. Actually, I guess you can eat charcoal. I think it actually, because it's made out of charcoal, actually no, I'll just put an edible but questionably ethical. The funny frog Pokemon. It is just a frog. A frog that generates electricity. I don't think it has any, like, it doesn't really seem to have anything associated with poison. It is only an electric type. Put you in emergency rations, I think. Wattrel. It is a bird. It is a bird. Just gonna put you in everyday meals. Okay. Maschiff. It is a dog. So I'll put it in emergency rations, I think. Shroodle and Grafifai. Poison. They are poison types. Poison normal types. Usually a mellow Pokemon will sink its sharp poison-soaked front teeth into any that anchor it, causing paralysis in the object of its ire. Keep enemies away from its territory, paint markings around its nest, using a poisonous liquid that has an acrid odor. Color of its poisonous saliva depends on what the Pokemon eats. Grafify covers its fingers in saliva and draws patterns on trees in forest. Each Grafify paints their own individual pattern and it paints the same pattern over and over again throughout its life. Actually, no, the poison is just straight up in their saliva. It is probably throughout the rest of their body, so eating it will probably honestly kill you. Bramblin. Soul unable to move onto the afterlife after it was blown around in the wind until it got tangled up with the dry grass and became a Pokemon. Okay. I think you'd be edible, but probably like almost like bland or tasteless because you are just dry weeds and stuff, basically. No nutritional value whatsoever. Toadstool. The silly walking tentacle. Toadstool lives in muggy forest. The flaps that fall from its body are chewy and very delicious. Okay, if you say so. The folds along the rim of its head are a popular delicacy. Okay. Easy. Making it real easy for me. This big land crab. I feel like it's very edible. Honestly. Gen 9 has a lot of really edible Pokemon. Capsicid and Skull Villain. They're just based off, freaking peppers, aren't they? Traditional Paldean dishes can be extremely spicy because they include the shed front teeth of Capsicid among their ingredients. Man. Add some freaking seasoning to your meals, I guess. Relor. What is this? It's a dung beetle. Mud ball by mixing. Sure, it's a mud ball. By mixing sand and dirt with psychic energy. Treasures this mud ball more than its life. Rolls its mud ball around while the energy it needs for evolution matures. Okay. They're not inedible, I don't think, but they are definitely potentially unhygienic. They're definitely not whirling only mud in there. Flittle. It looks like a peep. Well, they are based off ostriches, so I'll put you in everyday meals, I guess. Everyone's new favorite Pokemon line, the frickin' Tinkatink line. Well, it doesn't really say much about the physicality of the Tinkatink line, honestly. It is just, well, it is a Fairy Steel type Pokemon, so it just talks about how violent it is, so, put you in emergency food, I think. Wiglet. Wiglet is a freaking eel. Of course, you would eat it. Bombardier. Gathers things up in an apron made from shed feathers, added to the Pokemon's chest feathers, and drops those things from high places for fun. Sounds like a fucked up stork. Chest to bundle up food, which it carries back to its nest, and enjoys dropping things that make loud noises. Man. You know, like a crying infant. You're still a bird though, so everyday meals, I guess. Denizian. It is a dolphin. Man. Okay. Varoom line, steel poison type. I think they're based off actual motors though, so probably just put you all in inedible, honestly. Next is Cyclizar. It is a lizard. Guess there isn't really anything that's stopping us from eating lizards, is there? The funny worm Pokemon. Lives in arid deserts, it maintains its metal body by consuming iron from the soil. You are steel type though, but also it is 8 feet tall. So there's gotta be something in there you can eat, so I'll put you in like some parts are edible, I think. The Pokemon that kinda looks like a sperm, Glimmet. It absorbs nutrients from cave walls, petals it wears are made of crystallized poison. Toxic mineral crystals look like flower petals. Pokemon scatters poisonous powder like pollen to protect itself. It is a poison type though, so it will probably just kill you if you eat it, honestly, so. The ghost dog, Graveyard. It is a dog. It is a dog. You could eat it if you really wanted to. I feel bad about eating it though. Flamingo. Well, I guess you could eat a flamingo if you really wanted to. Okay. I don't think there's anything in its like physiology that would say otherwise. Next is Cetotl. I feel like they're pretty edible. Put them maybe like emergency rations, I think. Veluza. Water psychic Pokemon? It looks like a Barracuda, honestly. When Veluza discards unnecessary flesh, its mind becomes honed and its psychic power increases. Spirit flesh has a mild... Okay, the spirit flesh has a mild but delicious flavor. I'll put you in a gourmet meal, I think. Dondozo. I think you're like a giant catfish. You're pretty edible, I think. Tatsugiri. They do just sort of look like sushi. These different colors and patterns are apparently the result of Tatsugiri changing itself to suit the preference of the prey it lures in. It doesn't say anything about its physiology, you know, actually being sushi. It just says it kind of just mimics the look of sushi. I still just kind of want to put them in everyday meals, honestly. That's just my bias, though. Next is Annihilate. It is a fighting ghost type Pokemon, but it is also a monkey. So, especially ethical, I think. My big boy, Clodsire. Paldean Whooper I put in eating this will kill you, so I'll put Clodsire in the same place. Clodsire may live. Farigiraf. I do think it is just a giraffe, though, so put you in emergency rations, I think. Next is the Dunsparce. I don't think there's much difference between this and Dunsparce, so... Where did I put Dunsparce? Put it in emergency rations. I'll put the Dunsparce in the same spot as well, I think. The Dunsparce is just such a funny Pokemon. Okay, King Gambit. Pretty sure I put Bisharp in that, maybe. Oh, I think we're actually getting into the Paradox Pokemon now. I don't think it's gonna say much about its physiology, so I think I'm just gonna have to go with my gut for a lot of these Paradox Pokemon, so... Great Tusk. Emergency rations, I think. Screamtail. Screamtail, what is your typing? Very psychic type Pokemon. I do remember that I put Jigglypuff in, like, junk food, honestly. So why wouldn't Screamtail be in the same place, honestly? Rude Bonnet. It is a mushroom. I'd probably put you in drugs, I think. I don't know, I have to go with just my gut here. Fluttermane? I feel like Fluttermane would just actually be, you know, incorporeal, so you couldn't eat it if you wanted to. Put the Volcarona line in unhygienic, so I'll put Slitterwing in the same spot, I think. Sandy Shocks. I'll put you in inedible, I guess. Iron Treads. Yeah, they all just sort of look like they're robots, so I feel like most Paradox Pokemon would just be straight up inedible. Iron Bundle. What are they eating in the future? Like what? Protein shakes? I don't know. Iron Hands. They just seem so robotic. Iron Jugulus. So just straight up just looks like a robot. Unless these guys like somehow like, you know, like Pokemon brains and they only have Pokemon brains inside their robot bodies. Maybe. They wouldn't want to eat the brains anyway, so... Iron Moth... Man. Iron Moth, Iron Thorns... Next is Frigibasks. Maybe like emergency rations, maybe. Some of these are really tough. But also I feel like this gen has been a little bit easier than the other gems, honestly. Chemical would not be edible, honestly. So, get in there. What are these Pokemon called? They're like the Treasures of Ruined Pokemon. So, Wolxian. It kind of just looks like a slug. Drains life force from vegetation, causing nearby forests to instantly wither and fields to turn barren. Are we gonna get like any like plot stuff with these Treasures of Ruin? I feel like we should at some point. Was there some in the game already and I have no idea. I feel like it might either be unhygienic or it might actually kill you. Put you in unhygienic. Tianpao. Does seem to be like a snow leopard, so put you in like emergency rations, I think. Tinglu. It just sort of looks like a golem, so I'll put you in inedible, I think. Chia. Dark fire type Pokemon, looks like a goldfish. Controls flames burning over 5,400 degrees Fahrenheit. Swims through to sea of lava creates by melting rock and sand. You would just burn alive if you eat it, honestly. Similar to Slugma. Let's see, Roaring Moon. Related to Salamence. I'll put you in emergency rations. And then Iron Valiant. My preferred gender, honestly. Even if you were edible, you'd be questionably ethical, but I do think you are just a robot, so I'll make you inedible. Coridon, you're just a big old lizard. I'll put you in emergency rations, I think. Maridon, I think you would also be equally edible. Honestly. Actually, I put a lot of the other legendaries into gourmet meal, so I'll put Maridon and Coridon in gourmet meal as well. And then they don't have the new Pokemon that were like revealed a while back, so they don't have Walking Wake or Iron Leaves, it doesn't look like, so. But Walking Wake would probably go into emergency rations and Iron Leaves would be inedible, honestly. Yeah, that's all of Gen 9. Well, almost all of Gen 9, because they're still revealing Pokemon for Gen 9. So, yeah.